Hi, this is Angelique Teo, and welcome to the Sleep Better with Seely podcast. Now, I'm very excited this morning because I'll be speaking to a sleep expert. To be honest, I've never spoken to a sleep expert, and how we can get an even better night's sleep. So, the question is, how are you sleeping? Do you wake up feeling tired even though you get your full 8 hours? Is your back hurting? Are your joints in pain? Well, the good news is you belong to 92% of the world. The bad news is nobody wants to belong to those numbers. Now, there is a global sleep crisis. And if everything I have said sounds familiar, then stay tuned because today it's going to be all about sleep. And by the end of this 30-minute podcast, we aim to get you sleeping better and waking up ready to face the world. So let's sleep better with Seely. And this morning, we have the head of Seely's research and development team, Daniel Green. As his title suggests, he knows everything there is to know about sleep. Hi, Daniel, and thanks so much for being here. Tell us first where you're dialing in from.
Good morning. Lovely to be with you. I'm dialing in from Brisbane in Australia, which is where we have our headquarters for our Seal International business.
Okay, perfect. So let's jump straight into it and let's talk about the global sleep crisis and these insane numbers that I mentioned earlier, but I'm going to bring them up again. 92% of the world or of people are not waking up feeling refreshed and well rested most mornings. Now, here in Singapore, the problem is even worse because the numbers are as high as 93%. Now, we are number one for a lot of things, but I don't think this is a number that we want to be proud of. So, why do you think that is?
Oh, it's quite shocking, isn't it? I mean, we work in this space all the time and we do the sleep census semi-regularly, and the numbers still really surprise me at times. And you're right, the numbers in Singapore do stand out. And I mean, the first reason the Singaporean numbers stand out is that you guys are really hard workers. Now, I know probably many of your listeners are probably agreeing with that. And our data showed that 72% of Singaporeans are working more than 40 hours a week, which is one of the highest numbers that we have in our global sleep census, and
Mm.
much higher than other countries such as the UK or here in Australia, where we sort of run about 28% of people working 40 hours a week more. So people obviously are really working very hard, which can then is eating into time for sleep. And that leads to like another area of interest, and that's the amount of quality sleep Singaporeans are getting when they do go to sleep. It's really quite low. And 1 in 2, so half of the Singaporean people who responded to our sleep census are not getting enough sleep. And
Yeah,
when
we,
you think
we, we
about
have to
that,
work hard to play hard, you know?
that's true. You do play hard in Singapore. I do love visiting for that exact reason. But I mean, 86% of Singaporeans having problems getting to sleep, staying asleep, or even waking up too early. And when you don't get when you do get to sleep, half of the Singaporeans are only getting to 6 hours sleep or less. And look, as you know, 6 hours is great as long as it's high quality of sleep. But a lot of Singaporeans, like up to 98%, are actually feeling refreshed when they wake up in the morning. And so I think there really is a sleep crisis going on. And look, some of the numbers are elevated in Singapore and some of the stats, but it's a global problem. Across the world, people just are not sleeping enough and probably not prioritizing it enough in their day-to-day lives. And it's kind of concerning at times. It has big health impacts. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can imagine. You know, um, this is why we're talking about what we're talking about today. You know, you're a sleep expert. I come from a country that has the worst sleep crisis in the world, 93%. Now, if you're not getting quality sleep, then you're not well rested. And it sounds like it could also, apart from a short amount of time that you have, it could also come down to the comfort of what you're sleeping on. When it comes to the statistics, again, 50% of people have woken up experiencing back pains. That sounds like a
Mhm.
really painful problem. And it's not just the older generations that are experiencing this. A growing number of younger people are also talking about the same sort of back pains or discomfort when they wake up. Now, 60% of the people surveyed between the ages of 18 and 34, and that's really, really young if you think about it, are complaining about back pain. Daniel, you're the sleep expert. What could be causing so much pain?
Oh, I know. It's just incredible when you see these numbers, particularly for the younger generation. And look, there are many, many varied reasons why people could be experiencing back pain. It's usually associated with your day-to-day activities, and I don't know, your posture when you're sitting at, your desk, working all those very, very long hours that Singaporeans are working. All those things sort of add up. But there is one part of the day which you can actually control pretty well, and that's sort of when you're sleeping. And one thing we do know is that if you're not well supported when you are sleeping, then it's going to be a likely cause of back pain, probably particularly in the morning when you first wake up. And the good news is that with a good quality mattress and one that provides great support that's right for you, you can actually kind of fix that. You have the potential to improve both your sore back in the morning when you wake up, but also your overall sleep. And look, we also know that if you sleep on an older mattress, it's commonly going to become a cause of aches and pains because over time your body changes. And interestingly enough, our research found that over 30% of Singaporeans actually have a mattress which is more than 10 years old. And I think it's really important that people select the mattress that's right for them. And it's also really important to acknowledge that what's right for you changes with time. The bed that was right for you sort of 10 years ago when you bought your mattress, it was perfect. You probably slept great. But in the last 10 years, a lot of things have changed about your body and what you need. And as a result of that, quite commonly we find that a new bed can bring about a step change in kind of your sleep quality. It's been really interesting. We've done a lot of work with our research partners at universities and our orthopedic advisory board to sort of understand how that all works. And we know that, we develop mattresses that are designed with special technology inside, sleep posturepedic technology to respond, to help keep your body in alignment, which means your muscles can relax and you actually sleep better and you wake up feeling better without that sore back. But it's something people need to really just sort of think about in their day-to-day lives. They're very busy. They can get a sore back from various activities in the day, but then there's this magical, maybe 6 hours, 8 hours, or 10 hours overnight where you can control what your body's going to experience. And if you invest some time and effort into that, I think it can make a change to your life.
Daniel, you sound like you look like you get a lot of good rest at night, but you also sound like you've got a really fun job because you get to test out mattresses. And that means
Correct.
I'm thinking jumping on beds and laying down on beds and testing them out and all that. Now, that
Mm.
brings me to my next question, actually. If the comfort or quality of everyone's sleep is being affected, then the answer seems to be very, very simple. Invest in a quality mattress. I mean, obviously, you sleep on a Sealy Posturepedic, you get your good rest. Tell
I
us
do.
how important it is to actually invest and put some money in a good mattress.
Well, I think it's a really good observation. I mean, I am very lucky. We do get to jump around on mattresses and sort of test them and try all kinds of good and bad things. As a result of that, usually we get pretty good sleep, but occasionally we try things that don't work. And so we don't get great sleep, but that's all part of learning. And we do that learning so that people don't have to, so they can get a great night's sleep. But people need to really consider what impact their mattress can have. As I sort of said, you get this magical 6 to 8 hours every night where you can pretty well control what's going on with your body if you take the time to really find what's right for you. And in our research, we found that when consumers invest in a better quality mattress, their sleep quality improved, like actual fact. And I guess one of the more concerning learnings from our research is that younger consumers, so particularly those under 25, are likely to invest less into a mattress, but alarmingly, over 85% of those people under 25 have sleep problems, and over 50% have back pain. And when you sort of think about that from our perspective, when you look at the research numbers, you think about trying to get great sleep and wake up feeling great. Younger people have got to try and find a way to value their sleep highly, value their physical and mental health, and really invest. And we know that an inferior mattress may not provide the right amount of support for you. And as a result of that, the misalignment of your body really impacts your sleep and your ability to recover and sort of maximize your sleep. And I'm sure, hardworking Singaporeans who are getting 6 hours sleep need to maximize that outcome. And, a nice number from the research. We spent a lot of time and effort really striving to make the world's best bed. And our research has shown that 96% of Singaporeans who sleep on a Sealy Posturepedic mattress wake up feeling refreshed and well rested throughout the week. And that's a really nice kind of independent validation of all the work and effort that we put into our product development program across the world to give people a great night's sleep.
And what would be the lifespan of, say, an average Sealy Posturepedic mattress? Because it
Great
is an
question.
investment, you're putting in a bit of money, but if you break that down over the different years that it lasts, that breaks down how much quality sleep you are getting and breaking that investment across the board.
Yeah, that's right. So all our products have a 10-year warranty, and our products are tested well beyond that in our R&D center here to make sure that customers are really happy for the 10 years. Although, kind of interestingly, typically people change mattresses about every 7 or 8 years, and so the mattress will be fine. But what people sort of acknowledge around the 7 to 8 year mark is their body's kind of changing. And so you sort of get people coming back into the market, even though the mattress is still great and probably the same as it was that they bought 10 years ago. It's just time for them to acknowledge the change in their body and to reinvest some time into getting some quality sleep. So yeah, look, 10 years, no problem. But people need to constantly probably monitor how they feel and how they're waking up in the morning.
Okay, okay. The numbers you mentioned earlier about particularly those being under 25 years old being less likely to invest in a mattress are scary numbers only because we're living in a digital world, and those under 25 years old particularly enjoy doing things online. Now, traditional brick and mortar stores are moving also to the online only model. Um, we have numbers that show 18% of Singaporeans actually purchase their mattresses online without even trying it, feeling it, testing it first. And a further 24% of Singaporeans would consider doing the same if they haven't already. But 46% of them did say that they'd rather go into a store to make that decision. I personally belong to the 46%. I would go and sit, lie down, test it out, roll over, do all sorts of things and just make sure that that's the right mattress for me. So how important is it for someone to be like me to physically test a mattress in the store?
I think everyone should be like you. Look, one of the biggest challenges, and look, online's a thing, right? I mean, when we see this sort of commonly across all the markets that we operate, and it's a really convenient thing. I mean, I understand it. You haven't got to go into the store. You don't need to spend that time and that effort in a busy life. Particularly Singaporeans are always seem to be working. But from our research with the university and with our orthopedic advisory board, we know from a scientific perspective about what key things a mattress has to give, support and comfort, as well as durability from a warranty perspective. That's all really important. But what we also know from our research is that unfortunately, I can't actually tell you what bed you need. And so the idea that, there's one best bed for everyone, or that you can pick it online and purchase it and sort of be happy that it's going to be the best for you, it doesn't quite work. I mean, I wish we could. God, we're still working on it with the research that we're doing with the university to understand how we can try and predict it better. But because so many people's bodies are so different and everyone has a different sort of personal requirement or a personal comfort element that they want to consider, people need to go into stores. They've got to try a mattress. They've got to lie down for as long as they possibly can to really get kind of the in-home use. So you can't go into a store and just kind of push on it. You need to lie down. You need to lay on your back. You need to lay on your side, because you will be in those different positions, even though you think you may not. Over the night, you will roll into various positions. You need to think about them all. And that's why it's really important people head into stores, try the mattresses, and engage with the retail salespeople. They're experts. They help people select beds all day, every day. They can help you understand how you're going to maximize your sleep and get the best night's sleep. And almost 90% of customers who purchased online have had issues going to sleep and staying asleep most nights. And with the increasing demand on our time from the world, and the perceived ease of online purchases, I get it. But I mean, go into a store, engage with the sales staff, and they'll help you. It can be confusing and kind of overwhelming, but once someone helps you break it down, understand, it's a pretty straightforward process. And we found that from our research that, the Silly Posturepedic customers are really happy with the beds, and over 96% love them, and 92% of them prefer to purchase in store. So there's a really strong correlation there from our research that shows that, if you go into store and you find the bed that's right for you, you're probably going to sleep great. And if you buy online and probably don't invest the time in finding the bed that's right for you, you're more likely to have problems than not.
And I'm assuming if you're buying for the family, or at least more than one person, you have a husband or you have a wife that sleeps in the same bed as you, the two of you should go into that store and test the mattress out. Because as you mentioned, everyone's built differently, everyone has different sleep needs. So it's important to get even the kids to go in, the siblings, the grandparents, whatever it may be, for whomever you're buying it for. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, try and get them to come in. Kids, that can be hard. I've got a couple myself. They're not really going to love the idea of going mattress shopping. They're probably going to jump on it and have a great time and not really think about sleep. But yeah, if you get people on the beds, they're going to try and lay on and sleep well on. That's the way to go. Look, and comfort's unique. And so in Singapore, as an example, about 48% of the market opt for a medium feel, and about 35% like a firm mattress. So, obviously the Singaporean element, people like a medium to firm, and our most popular models are typically mediums across the market. But people need to go in. They need to try them, as you said.
That's some interesting stats. I had no idea about the medium to firm. Okay, let me speak about when we are asleep. That restful night that you want to get. Now, I am a fairly deep sleeper, but the one thing that I find that disrupts my nighttime sleep is when I get up to go use the bathroom. Now, the study shows that almost half of us, in fact, 48% of us, wake up at night to use the bathroom, and this increases when you get older. The common factors which disrupt our sleep during the night, and I'm sure this will sound familiar: feeling too hot, that's 40% of us. Feeling too cold, that's 19% of us. External light or noise, 23%. And back, joint, or muscle pain, 22%. So if these factors are disrupting our night, what can we do to make sure that we have a more peaceful and undisrupted sleep?
I mean, they're incredible stats, aren't they? You can see sort of how complex sleep is, and it really is very complex. And there's so many aspects about the sleep environment to consider, as well as the psychological and physiological elements that sort of go on. And people in the modern world in particular need to do all they can to help themselves get a great night's sleep. And look, if you struggle sleeping, I'm sure you've looked at 1,010 important things to do to sleep better. And all those, tricks and tips, they're important tools people need to use. Follow the rhythm, the circadian rhythms, limit screen time close to sleep, create a comfortable and relaxed sort of sleep environment, which is, dark and cool and quiet, and try and do all that at a similar time every day so your body really builds that rhythm. They're also important to create that sort of sleep pressure. But from our perspective, we think a lot about the sleep environment and how the mattress can play a role in that. I mean, I'd love to think that one day I'd have a magic button you can press and you can fall asleep anywhere. Maybe we'll put that on the to-do list for later. But the mattress is a big part. It's the thing you're going to be in contact with all night, along with your sheets and, probably like a blanket of some kind. And in our research, consumers really identify both comfort and support as the most important parts from the mattress to help them sleep. And like, as I said, Singaporeans should go and try them. Typically, they like a firm or a medium mattress. Try and find the right comfort level for you. If you do sleep hot, you probably need to consider a firmer bed. And if you sleep cool, then maybe a softer bed's right for you. But you've got to do that on balance with all the other bits and pieces that sort of influence your sleep. So the contact surface area with the mattress influences heavily your sleep climate. So if you find the right thing from a feel perspective for your comfort, select the slightly firmer version of that. If you sleep hot, then you'll be great. If you're buying a Posturepedic, you haven't got to worry about support. We've taken care of that in the design of the mattress, so you shouldn't have the sore back. And if you combine all that together, people should be getting a pretty good night's sleep.
Okay, can you repeat that again? Can you repeat that bit that you said? If you feel too hot, you get a softer or firmer.
If you feel too hot, you should get a firmer bed because there's less area of the mattress touching your body when you're sleeping, and that allows
Oh,
you to sleep slightly cooler. Yeah, believe it
got
or not.
it.
So the hottest beds in our testing are really soft all foam mattresses, and the coolest beds in our testing are firm Posturepedics. And there's a
Wow.
range in between those sort of two ends of the spectrum. And obviously, people can control their sleep environment. Singaporeans love to have the aircon, love to have climate control. You need it. It's so humid all the time. But within your room, within your sleep environment, you can really, through careful mattress selection, help that process. But the people in store can help with that. The salespeople are well trained in all these things to try and help people sleep better.
So interesting. I never knew mattress shopping could be so much fun. So it
Yeah.
looks like it's really down to comfort and quality, right?
Yeah.
And Sealy obviously has a long history of research. You guys go into the sleep biomechanics, so much so that you've set up an orthopedic advisory board in Australia. You've also
Mhm.
built the largest mattress R&D facility in the Southern Hemisphere. Tell us more about what goes on. Tell me all the secrets about what goes on in this R&D facility. Do you really
Uh,
get to jump on beds?
Oh, well, I wish we did get the jump on beds. We've got equipment that does that for us, but there's always a lot going on. But there's definitely no sleeping on the job either, I must admit. We're always pretty busy, really trying to make the world's best bed. We test all of our raw materials, we test our finished product to make sure it's going to perform, and we develop, and validate brand new technology. It could be spring support systems or edge systems to make our beds the best. But in addition to all that work, we're constantly working with the university and our orthopedic advisory board to do research to understand how we can make a bed better. And so our orthopedic advisory board has orthopedic surgeons, it has biomechanical experts, it has medical engineers, and all these people working, trying to understand how the sleep surface that you lay on can help you sort of sleep better. And then we take that knowledge, all that learning from the university and our investment there, we use that in our lab, in our test lab, to be able to validate products. So recently we designed and built some new testing mannequins that allows us to understand the body alignment of sleep. And then through those, we can apply our university research into our product development, which then get delivered to Singaporean homes, and allow them all to have unique technology that we know will work, that will help them sleep better. And we've got this constant focus about making the world's best bed. And so, as we said earlier, it's really nice results of the sleep census to know that if people take the time in store to select a mattress and it ends up being a Sealy Posturepedic, then 96% of people are going to be happy with their choice, and they're going to get a great night's sleep. And that's a really nice validation of the work that we sort of put in. It's really nice being able to help people who don't get enough sleep try and get more.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible the amount of commitment that Sealy has to creating the perfect sleep for us with the perfect mattress that you need to find in a store. Well, thank you so much, Daniel, for coming to us live from Brisbane, Australia. Daniel Green is, of course, the research part of the research and development team from Sealy. This has been the Sleep Better with Sealy podcast. I hope you've discovered lots of different methods on how you can get that restful sleep, wake up being able to take on anything the world has to offer you. But of course, you need to do it with the perfect mattress. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you so much. Lovely talking with you.
Kiss 92, all the great songs in one place.